Hello, Booktube. It is time for a tag. My name is Linda Jo Martin, and I'm known on Booktube as Book Lady. Today I'm doing the supermarket shopping tag. This tag was originally created by Jason at Byways in Bookland. And I wasn't tagged by anyone, but I did see this originally at Sarah's channel. She is known as Steeped in Books. And I'll put her link and Jason's link in the description of the video on YouTube. So the first question on this tag is list. Before going book shopping, including virtually, do you have a list? And yes, I do have a list. It is actually posted on my website at lindajomartin.com. It's on the most recent page for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, which I've been doing every year since 2016. And every year I sort of plan in advance what I want to read, and so you'll find notes there on that page about what books you can expect me to be buying and reading during the rest of the year. Of course, if something else comes up and I feel like I have time for it, I might read something that is off list. That appeals to me. That happens. The second question is fruit and vegetable. Good for the body and mind. Recommend a book you felt improved your physical, mental health. And I am going to tell you about the Candida cure. I found out about this book about 7 or 8 years ago, and I actually went on this diet. It's a 3-month diet, and it's very restrictive, but I felt like it was good for my body because it eliminated Candida from the places where it shouldn't have been. The third question is tinned goods. Regardless of the label on the can, the contents are all too often bland. What is your tin can genre? Well, I hate to disappoint Sarah, who is really into romance novels, but I really do not like most romance novels. And it might be my age. I just am not in a romantic mood these days. I don't like anything that is unrealistic or overly romantic, and I don't like anything that follows a pattern that, is so totally recognizable it makes the book boring. So the fourth question on this is meat and fish counter. Prepared by a skilled butcher, fishmonger. Just how you want it, tell us about a book you felt was written just for you. Well, this book was written just for me and for about 1 million other people. It's called The Artist's Way. This book, I just loved it. It's by Julia Cameron. I've read a lot of her books now. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but I've read several of her books now, and I have really benefited a lot just by following her philosophy about books, not books, but writing and art and life. I love her books. And the next one is number 5, baked goods. Bread is a staple for many around the world. Who is an author? You can easily digest at any time of the day, and I will give that to Margaret Atwood. I've read a few of her books, and I very much liked them. I loved The Handmaid's Tale, which now everybody knows about that because it's I was going to say it's either on Netflix or Hulu. I can't remember which one. I subscribe to both services, so I really don't know where I saw it. I think it was Netflix, but yeah, Margaret Atwood. And then the other one that I read was this one. I read it just last year, and I can't remember the name. Oh my goodness. The next section is question number 6, chilled section. Recommend a cool new author or book you recently discovered. Well, I'm reading Dodie Smith's book, I Capture the Castle, and this was written, I think, back in the 30s. It's not a new book, but I had never even heard of it before until this read-along came along, and I am so enjoying this book. Truly amazing. It makes me wonder what her other books are like. Question 7, Frozen section. Tell us about a book that gave you the shivers. I will say No Exit. I read that last year for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, and I did actually have the audiobook version, and it was just a chilling situation because they were stuck in the snow in a remote place at a remote roadside rest area in Colorado, and it was just horrible what happened there, but I'm not going to tell you what happened because you have to read the book to find out. And then question number 8, beers, wines, and spirits. Name one of the first books you read that made you feel like an adult. And that will be Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. And I was so taken by that book that I read everything else that he wrote that I could get my hands on. And that happened when I was a teenager. A school librarian told me about his book, Siddhartha, and I liked it a lot at the time. And then I tried to read it again, about 10 years ago, and I didn't like it. But my feelings about what constitutes a good novel by that time had changed a lot. The next question is sweets and candy. What genre author is your indulgence when you need a little treat read? So if I wanted a little treat read, I'd probably choose a suspense thriller of some kind. Something like Gone Girl or The Silent Patient would be perfect. I liked those a lot. But most suspense thrillers don't actually come up to that standard, so you get what you get. But I would say a suspense thriller because usually they are so fast-paced, I get through them quickly and usually enjoy them. Question number 10, magazine stand. If you read magazines and journals regularly, share some titles with us. I do not read any magazines anymore. For a while I was reading a folk art magazine that I was getting from the Folk Art Society of America, and I no longer subscribe to that. I can't think of any magazines that I read at this time. Checkout. Question 11, time to go home and unpack, tag some shoppers on the way in. I don't know who's already done this. I mean, just off the top of my head, I will tag Book Zealots, Faith in Books, and Reading and Retail. And I don't know if they've done this yet or not, but if they haven't, or if you haven't, if you're watching this video and you got to this part of the video and you'd like to do this tag, go right ahead. Talk to you in another video. Bye.